In an armed robbery, look for your chance for a counter ambush and you might be able to turn the tables. Hi everyone, welcome to today's lesson here at Active Self-Protection. I am your host, John Correa. Today we actually have 4 videos, all out of, you guessed it, Houston, Texas. To win the fight after the fight, you need help. After a use of force, I trust Firearms Legal Protection to help me win the fight for the rest of my life. From their 24/7 attorney-answered hotline to coverage for the use of all legal tools, Firearms Legal Protection has you covered. Get a discount by signing up at the link below. We've got audio in the beginning of this first armed robbery. Let's listen in.
What's up? What's up? What is it? What's it? Yeah, go for the stage.
There's no audio in this portion as you see the guy push these couple of employees to the back, pushes the one guy back behind him. There's at least, I think, 2 other employees behind the counter. So he's gonna start taking up the money here and grabbing that and sticking it in his gun hand. Now he's gonna force everybody to the back, be like, yo guys, I want everybody to go to the back. They're gonna go, he's gonna grab a bunch of stuff here. We have just a little bit of audio when he's leaving.
I'm sorry too.
In this second one, woman's running a salon out of her home. These guys knock on the door. We have audio on this one too, and the next one as well.
Okay, that's it. I don't have no more. That's inside it. That's it. Please. I don't have nothing. No more. Believe me, in here. Everything in here.
Get no foot. About no foot. You see my ID? I'm 22. Okay, Corona man virus. I don't have my ID. Bro, fuck this. Give me the money. Give me the money, bro. Give me the fucking money. Darling, give me the money, nigga. Stop fucking moving. Give me the money, nigga. Give me the fucking money. Bro, give me the fucking... This shit, man.
Final one we want to look at, these multiple guys, including somebody with an AR-style pistol, 4 attackers here, all of them armed, come in and they're going to address, there's at least a couple of customers here, and then the clerk is behind bulletproof glass in this one. The guys just point a gun at him and they start demanding that he let them in to the place where the bulletproof glass is. They demand they let him in the secure area, and he's just like, nope, I'm not gonna do it. So they're banging on the door and all that stuff. They're shaking down the customers. He won't let them in where he is. So when they leave, they actually are gonna shoot at the bulletproof glass a couple times, according to the news story that I have linked in the description. Don't think we get to see it real good, but they shoot the bulletproof glass up multiple times and then run off without getting anything from the store. They did shake down the customers though. We got a lot of lessons. At this point, I don't understand why more convenience stores in Houston don't have complete bulletproof glass. I just don't. Let's think about lessons. In this first one, we gotta look at counter ambushing opportunities for everyone. First thing, notice the guy comes in, puts a magazine in his gun and chambers it. He does that so that you know he has a loaded gun and you know the gun is real. That's why he's doing that. He's doing that as an intimidation tool. And now you know, okay, the gun has a magazine in it and he has put 1 round in the chamber so it is ready to go. Great. Now, as a defender, you have to wait your turn. Remember, one of the keys to surviving an armed robbery, if you were in a public space, is waiting your turn. It's very different than police officer encounters, because somebody pulls a gun on a cop, they aren't going to threaten with it. They're going to use it, so you got to go. But as a private citizen, they're using it to threaten, and unless they're actively shooting it. So make sure that you wait your turn. Now, I want you to notice here, he's focused on our dude like this. And notice, look at the employee over on this side. This is a perfect time for a counter ambush for that employee, not the guy who's, I think, maybe a customer who's got his hands up and all his attention. But if our employee on the left side here has a 2-second draw to first shot, heck, he could have a glacially slow draw to first shot. He could burn this guy down right now. Now, I do think he probably would want to maybe take a big step to get a better backstop so that his partner, his buddy, or his customer is not in the backstop. But having that counter ambush opportunity and knowing, hey, even with a 2-second draw to first shot, if he shows you the back of his head, there's no way he's going to beat you. Get your gun out and go to work. And he's going to, have at least a bullet in him when things go, is okay. Now, in this case here, I think very difficult to launch a counter ambush, because so what I want you to see here is, if you don't take your turn, it will evaporate. It won't be around forever, so when your turn shows up, you got to take it. Because right here, I know that there's some martial arts folks who would say, oh, okay, the guy that's got the, got the gun at his back can do some martial artsy stuff to take that gun away. Frankly, I think that's a great way to get shot. I think that doing that stuff to a resisting attacker, do it in force on force a few times, and after eating a few high-speed Skittles to the back, you'll stop doing stuff like that, because it's almost impossible in real, actual encounters where the guy doesn't want you to take it away from him. Now, again, now he's not paying attention. I want you to see the fact that he is looking at the employee that's at the bottom left. Now the guy that he was threatening just a second ago, he is looking somewhere else. Now, if that guy or the other employee in the backstop had a 1.5 second draw to first shot, so he didn't show him the back of the head, but he did show him his ear. So if he shows you his ear and you have a 1.5 second verified consistent draw to first shot, you can get this guy without any problems whatsoever. He cannot get back to you fast enough. So that's why it's important to know what your times and accuracy standards are, so that you know what your visual go signal is. So he's got time here to get that. And then also, you notice here as he's putting stuff in his hands, notice what he's doing here. He's taking it out with his support hand and then sticking that stuff in his hand with the gun, and his attention is down on the the money. So again, another instance here, he didn't show you his ear, but he took his attention away from this to something else that is valuable to him. When he takes his attention down to the valuables, you also have a 1.5 second draw on first shot, can be enough to win that fight. Now, again, in this case, he's going to push them into the back room. I hate that in every capacity, but it ended up working out okay for these guys because he didn't end up hurting them. Okay, fine. I still don't like being taken into a back room. Would have rather one of them have taken the counter ambushing opportunities and ended that threat. This next one here, this lady has a security door. She has not only a door, but a security screen. Now listen, the second you open those and unlock them, they're useless. So this is the big lesson on this one, for golly gosh sakes, is use your security stuff. Now, I will say that security screen by itself won't protect you if they really want to hurt you. If you've listened to the Ask podcast, we've had a guest on there. He's one of my former students from Bible college and good friend Juan Rivas, who was shot through his security door for no darn good reason. So that security screen door is great, but it's not bulletproof. So just make sure you understand that. But use your security. When you disable it, what are you doing here? Do you have an appointment? Who are you? Understand that if you unlock your door, now they're going to be able to get in and do whatever it is they want, and that's a big trouble. Now, once that starts and everything starts to go down, we got to ask the question, what is this woman going to do? Well, she can launch a counter ambush as well, but timing is going to be difficult on that. Now, let's think about this. I will say this from the bad guy's perspective here. You notice he has a hold of her with her left hand, and he is pulling on her. And I would normally be very worried about a negligent discharge here, but do you notice that our perp actually has excellent trigger discipline in this particular case? He has his finger high and in register, and so that sympathetic squeeze doesn't happen, and that sympathetic squeeze doesn't result in a negligent discharge. So it tells me he's got at least a modicum that he's paying attention in gun school, or that somebody showed him the right way and he's actually doing it. And the bad guys do things right occasionally, and so we should point that out, even though of course his actions are morally reprehensible. Now, where is the opportunity for counter ambush for her? Well, the difficulty here is that he just looked and was like, hey, show me, I want to see your phone or whatever, and she showed him her waistband. Now, if she was carrying it behind her hip, again, he showed her the back of his head. If he has she has a 2-second draw to first shot. There is nothing he can do to get that gun around and to get his eyes around, see what's happening, and get a shot off before her. And since that, again, the first person to put an anatomically significant hit on the other person almost always wins the gunfight. If she's armed, ready, this is her go signal. Dude turns his head around, cool, my turn to go, but you gotta go when you hear the beep. When you see the beep in real life, when you see the go signal, so then that way you don't give them more opportunities. Now, in reality here, she could have had a 4-second draw to first shot, and there's nothing he's going to really do about it. And thankfully, they don't end up hurting her. Now, this one cracks me up, is that this clerk is behind bulletproof glass, and the guy's like, hey man, give me this stuff. He's like, no. So then the guy tries to stick the gun underneath that. I will say there's no way he's getting it underneath there to be a threat, but I would say, hey man, I wouldn't go where he could maybe shoot through the counter, try to get somewhere else. And in this last one, I think the clerk was right not to let these guys in his place where there is bulletproof glass. Now, of course, that doesn't help these customers at all. So you see bulletproof glass, that's to protect the clerk, not to protect you as the customer. You are still vulnerable. You have to take steps to protect yourself. There are two customers out here. The one who's in the aisle that we can see really well in the top, probably not much he can do because the guy's attention is on him. But the guy who's to the left, he's actually behind the aisle a little ways. If he was armed, he's got a chance to get his gun out and go to work on these guys when they come around the corner without them really being able to suspect that he is ready to do that. So I think he actually has the best chance in the beginning, though of course that's gonna evaporate. Even with a guy that's wielding an AR style pistol, if you get ahead of him here, I think you can. But in this case instead, they chose to simply comply. Okay, fine. The compliance in this case worked, but I think, again, having an understanding of how the counter ambush strategies work, how to get yourself to a place and what your go signals are can help you. Then you take those go signals, get yourself to class, make sure that you're training under some stress, know what your time standards are and what you can personally do with your carry gun in your carry location using your tools. And once you have all that, you'll know what your go signal is to cover your ASP.